Okay, we are now live. Okay, good.
Okay, welcome all. I'm going to read the notice of the meeting was given to the Asbury Park Press and the Co-Star back in January or December of last year. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Oh, goodness, easier said than done. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United
States of America
and to
and to the republic
for
which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under God, indivisible,
with
liberty and justice for all.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, Bill.
Hello.
Hey, Bill.
Hey, Bill. How are you, Bill?
Hi, Bill.
Hi, Bill. How you doing?
Everybody.
Okay, we'll do roll call real quickly. All right, Ro, did you want to do it or do you want to just sit? It's okay.
I'm gonna observe. I don't have my roll call sheet in front of me.
That's okay, not a problem. Okay, Charity.
Present.
Thank you. Bill.
Here.
Thank you. Bruce.
Here,
Thank you. Pat.
Here.
Thank you. Johanna, is she on yet? No, I don't think so. Darlene? Darlene, you can unmute yourself.
If you go to the left-hand corner of your screen.
There she is.
There she is. Good, good. Let's see. I know Jerry is off. Okay, I have Bruce, Bill, Pat, Darlene, Charity, Jerry, myself. Who did I miss? Did I miss anyone? I think that's all that are present. Pat, I did. Yeah, I think I've got everyone. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I know Danielle won't make it today. I saw her in school and she said she
Yeah.
wasn't available tonight.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm taking Danielle's position.
Okay,
A little.
thank you, Mr. Holman.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then, yes, okay, we're good. Okay, could I ask for someone to make an approval of the minutes from March meeting?
I'll make that
I will
motion.
make that motion that we approve the minutes from the March 2021 meeting.
Okay, who would like to second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Bill. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good, thank you. All right, we're going to start a little bit differently this evening rather than in previous meetings. We're going to start with some new business, only because of the way that we have some presenters that are present here today. So we're going to be starting, I believe, with the Shady Tree Commission. Am I correct, Louis?
Yes, we'll start with the Shade Tree Commission. And Jim Sharrock, the vice chairman, is here with us, as well as Greg Glesman, who will be speaking to us about the tree program they're proposing that we're working on. Jim, if you want to unmute yourself, you can fire away.
Sharon, I'm here.
Okay, good. Johanna's here. Thank you.
Jim, you'll have to unmute yourself.
Lower left.
Yeah, if you look in the lower left corner, you'll see a mute.
Looks
There
like
you
a
go.
microphone.
Yeah,
You just click on that.
Yeah, you have to move your mouse or your pointer in that direction, and then it will
I think
highlight.
the video.
Louis, are you able to do that for him?
No, let me see if I can. Where is he? Where is he? James Sharrock. I can ask to unmute him, but I can't control his mute.
I just sent Jimmy a text.
Okay,
Okay.
Okay.
I'll ask him to start his video as well.
And for Darlene and Johanna, if you *6, you can unmute yourself, since you're both on phone, I think.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm fine. Yeah, I'm on mute. Yeah.
Okay, but Darlene's still muted.
James, can you? There's
I'm
Dar-
mute.
Okay,
okay.
thank you.
All right, James, if you look in your lower left corner of the screen, you'll see a little microphone button that has the word mute or unmute on there. You need to tap that.
He has to move his pointer there. He has to
Yeah.
move his mouse to actually highlight it and then click it.
Any luck, Jim? All right,
So Louis,
yes.
if Jim can't, if we can't get Jim's audio up, then I can take over. I can do the whole thing.
Okay, why don't we go with that? This way we keep the meeting rolling. So Jim, if you're able to reconnect, great, just pop right in when you can. Greg, go ahead.
Okay, so first, I'd like to thank the Library Board of Trustees for allowing us to come and speak at your meeting tonight. Jim Sharrock and I are representing the Belmar Shade Tree Commission at the meeting here tonight. And really our focus is, we'd like to tell you a little bit about the Arbor Day celebration that the Shade Tree Commission celebrates once a year. First, just a little background that, why do we celebrate Arbor Day? First off, because Arbor Day is a good thing to celebrate, particularly if we can bring in the school children and try and get them interested in and show them the importance of trees. But the other thing that's important about the Arbor Day presentation is it's one of the requirements to be certified by Tree City USA. And that certification is important to the town because it provides some free liability coverage in the event that there are accidents with trees. So the celebration is really twofold. And really what we're going to talk about today is this year's plan for the celebration and how it involves the library. So Louis, if you could bring up that slide deck, this would be a good time.
Can you see that? Oh, wait, no, hold on, that's not right. Hang on. Hang on, where is the Zoom?
It should be the one on the right, Arbor Day slides.
Where, yeah, I see that. I'm tabbed on that. Wait, hang on 1 second. All right, here we go.
There we go.
Okay, we might want to mute ourselves just because I hear background noise. So we might just want to self-mute ourselves because there's someone who has background noise so we can hear Greg.
Louis, if you could go to the next slide. Just then enter key will advance it. Louis, I'm not sure. Louis, did you hear that?
All right, hang on
I
1 second.
asked you to.
Okay, let's, why is this not? Okay.
There you go. Okay. So this, we use this presentation to the business administrator in town here, and essentially all the same talking points apply, all the same concepts apply. So we're just going to use the same presentation. So some of this stuff isn't directly aimed at the library meeting, but it was at the business administrator. But it's essentially the same presentation. So what we talked about in that discussion with the business administrator is the idea of using raised beds for this Arbor Day celebration, where we want to place these raised beds, who is providing the trees that we want to plant in the beds, how these raised beds fit into the Arbor Day celebration. And this was what we were asking for, in particular what we were asking the borough for. We tried to get on last month's calendar at the Library Board of Trustees meeting, but we were too late. We weren't ready. We talked about it a little bit, but decided it was premature. So as the timing would have it, we ended up in front of the business administrator first, and now tonight in front of the library board. So Louis, if you go to the next slide, please. Okay, so this idea of raised beds, Did we skip one slide, Louis? I think, there we go.
There we go.
There we go. Okay. So again, what we're talking about is someplace to plant trees. And when we say raised beds, we're talking about not physically raised, just sitting above the ground, essentially about 10 inches above the ground. So the beds will be built with 2x10s forming boxes. We'll fill the boxes with dirt. We'll put some cages and we'll put the trees in the cages. So ideally, again, this is ideally what we think would work well is 3 rows with 5 trees per row. Each row would be roughly 15 feet long, about 3 foot wide, with about 2 foot spacing in between. 2 foot spacing it's enough for my lawnmower to get through. I'm not sure what the township uses, but that was the idea. You want to space them enough so you can run a lawnmower through them. That brings us to a total of about 17 by 17 or about 290 square feet. And some people wonder, okay, why raise beds? Why not just dig holes in the ground? And the reason is because we can control the quality of the soil in raised beds. We'll bring the soil in, we'll treat it, and hopefully give us a better shot at growing these small trees. Next slide, please, Louis.
That's it.
There we go. So then the question becomes, where do we want to place these beds? Our first choice is really in the yard just east of the library building. An alternate location could be along the fence, along the south border. One of the important things is we have to be able to get enough sunlight onto it. Why are we even considering the library? Has a lot of advantages. First off, it's a place of learning where students already visit. The other thing is it's central to both Belmar Elementary and St. Rose. And ultimately, what we'd like to do, we can't do it this year, but what we typically do on Arbor Day is make a presentation to the children in their classroom, and then we bring them out to either plant trees. In the past, we planted trees in front of Belmar Elementary, around Silver Lake, and we'll bring the kids down there, and they typically throw a shovel of dirt in to try and get involved. But we've had so luck with some of those trees. Some of them last a year and they die, and we're looking for some alternative ways to introduce the children to planting trees, caring for trees, and ultimately transplanting them. The other thing that's really significant about the library location is the availability of water. Early on, the small seedlings, they don't need a lot of water, but they need water at the right time. Without the correct amount of water, they'll dry up, they'll die, and we're done. Next slide, please, Louis. So Louis, this might be easier to do if you kind of went a couple that time. This might be easier to do if you exited, back one more. There you go. If you exit presentation mode, then you can just sort of click on the next slide to get it. So the other location that we looked at that looked pretty good is the Belmar Community Gardens. We could potentially put the raised beds in alongside, not in the garden itself, not in their area, but outside the fence. There's room, we thought, along the fence along the playground, and then also we thought we could get a bed along the house that's adjacent. They also have a fence, and we thought we could get another raised bed in there, so we'd have one on either side of where people park their cars. The advantage there is, again, there's water available to us, and there's plenty of sun. The only thing is that taking the kids from St. Rose out to 15th, not really ideal. The library grounds are a little closer. Louis, next slide, please. So I think we went to, there we go. Nope, other direction. You want to go one? Okay, right there. There, right there. Okay, so so one of the things that there's significant here is where are these trees coming from? Now the Arbor Day Foundation has set up something called a tree recovery program, and they will give townships in the program up to 1,000 free tree seedlings. These seedlings they're small, they're delicate, 6 inches to 24 inches. We will pick them up when they're available, and that availability is between 22nd and 30th. April 30th is a traditional Arbor Day. The point of this program is to help some of the trees that were lost to Superstorm Sandy or just damaged by new invasive insects or whatever reason. Now, the purpose of this tree program is to help people plant more trees within the township. We've ordered a collection of trees, but we don't know that they're all going to be picked up. So the idea would be any trees that are left over from this program we'll plant in these planters. And then, of course, what we'll also do is purchase other trees from a local nursery. Now, some people have asked, okay, what kind of trees are they? Well, the Arbor Day Foundation has given us a list, a fairly extensive list of trees. All those trees they feel will do good in this area, but they couldn't tell us exactly which ones are going to be available. So it kind of comes down to, we're giving you the trees free. We think they'll do good. You have to take what we have available on the day at the nursery you're going to pick up. So presumably the trees will all do well in the area, but we don't know precisely what species of trees they will give us. We do have, we obviously have control, or some control anyway, over the trees that we purchase at a local nursery. Next slide, please. Okay, so when this is it. So what do we plan on demonstrating with this? How do we turn these raised beds into a presentation for children from 4th grade children? So the idea is to plant up to 15 trees, 5 per row, maybe less. What we'd like to do is we'd like to videotape. I think ultimately what we'll end up doing is taking stills of the raised beds being built. We'd like to videotape the planting of a tree or two, probably two. One, the trees we're getting free are what's known as bare root. So there's one method of planting those, and we'll also have some B&Bs, they call them, but they'll be potted trees, and we'll also plant one of those. So we'd probably like to videotape some of each of that, and then also videotape when all the trees are in the ground. We'll take these videotapes and ship them off to the 4th graders at St. Rose, and we give them some other material, and hopefully they can use this as an Arbor Day presentation to the children. So that would be this year. Now, ultimately what we want to do is we want to bring the kids to the library to show them this planting. So the idea would be next year we harvest one of the rows of trees, assuming they're of size to ready for transplantation, and we put in another row of trees. So at that point, then we've got one row of trees that's brand new, and another 2 rows that are already 1 year grown. And you can see the progression. So if we do this over the course of a couple of years, when we bring these children in, there'll be some trees that are just going in, some that are in a year, some that are in 2 years. And if we spread it out, we can manage the trees a little bit to give them a reasonable idea of how long it takes to grow a tree like this. And ultimately, we'll be taking these trees out and transplanting them and putting them someplace in town. We haven't figured that part out yet. That depends on exactly what trees we get, how well they do, and where we think they will survive best. We've had some mixed luck with trees over near the fishing club. We've had good luck with trees in McCleary Park. So depending upon the types of trees, we'll figure out where we're going to put them and when, and also when they're ready to be moved. Next slide, please. So what we were asking, what the Shade Tree Commission was asking was, we were looking for some space on borough property to plant these. We were looking for DPW to construct the beds for us. What the Shade Tree Commission will do is we will provide regular care for these trees. Everything from the planting, the watering, weeding, unearthing when appropriate, and also the Arbor Day activities that, assuming next year, we'll be able to bring the kids to the site and show them around. So that's really, that's what we presented to the borough. That's what we thought would be a pretty reasonable presentation to you folks. What do you think? Questions? What else could we tell you?
Yes, Greg. This is Bruce. How are you?
Good, Bruce.
You kind of answered one of my questions. The planting of these seedlings and proximity, I didn't know how tall they were going to get, that they were close to each other, that they would, be so close. But now I'm assuming that they're just going to be planted here and then transplanted to another location.
That's correct. This
Okay,
is,
all right. Yeah, well,
yes.
I understand that now, because I didn't know how long they were going to be on our property at the library. If they were going to be, if they were going to get enormous trees or whatever. But now I understand the concept of what you're doing. So that basically answered my questions.
Okay.
Yes.
Hey, Greg, this is Bill Young. I think it's a great idea. I support you and
Thank
Jimmy
you, Bill.
Sharrock on this.
Excellent. Appreciate
Excellent
that.
idea.
Thank you,
Excellent
Billy.
idea.
Billy, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
Jim, you made it.
I'm with Bill. I definitely support, what you're doing with the program. It's an excellent idea, and especially the learning process for the children, and they get to see, what Arbor Day is about. An excellent program.
Thank you.
Yeah, we put a lot of thought into this. We didn't just come up with these plans overnight. We really thought long and hard. The yin and the yang of everything. And funny thing, not a funny thing. Oh, by the way, construction of the planting beds may start tomorrow, depending on the weather. But listening to the last forecast, about 6 o'clock, we're supposed to have very good weather tomorrow. So I expect DPW to be there tomorrow. Hopefully they will be, because Arbor Day, we want to get this set up for Arbor Day so we can do the right thing with the kids. And as Greg explained, COVID, as with everything, nobody doesn't even need repeating, is throwing a monkey wrench into everything. So the one thing is the cost of the material has shot up dramatically. I mean, like 10 times, 5 times what it was worth 2 months ago. It's now a $9 or a $10 board is now $55. So that really hit us hard, our budget hard. Totally unexpected.
Okay, I have my hand up. I wasn't sure if you could see that. I know Charity had her hand up also, but she's muted. Did you have a question, Charity, or no? Oh, okay. I have a couple of questions. If I'm to understand this correctly, then would all the trees be removed by 2023, or is this like a continuing every year?
Well, yeah, this would be kind of an annual replanting. So right now, our thoughts are to keep it, continual, and to cycle the trees in and out to a better planting position once they get a little bit bigger. So the idea is to keep the 3 rows continually, and then recycle them 1, 2, 3. So the trees we plant 2021 shouldn't be there in 2023, or at least 2024. But yes, it will be continual.
So that would mean that you're anticipating hopefully getting additional seedlings each year.
Well, this program as it exists right now is an annual event by the state. It's the State Forestry Commission. We have to go out sometime right before Arbor Day. I think we probably tentatively planning on April 27th to pick them up. And we're only getting 50. So we're gonna try to pick out 9, I think it's,
Locations. Mm-hmm.
you understand?
Yeah.
So that would kind of be it.
Okay, for some of the other locations that you were looking at, because I think with us, meaning the library, I think you can probably hook up a hose so that you'd be able to water the seedlings in
Well,
that.
there is a hose right out there, actually. So
Right, that's what I was
hopefully
thinking. But if you were to go to some of the other locations, are you going to be hand watering then? Because
Well, that's the problem. You can't
Yeah.
you hauling 50 gallons and
I
100 gallons of
know.
water is,
That's what
that was our problem as Greg was talking about before. We had 13 trees that we had, Greg and I planted them last summer. It was very hot in the morning. We planted 13 trees up at the park on the river and the park by the fishing club and
Schroeder Park.
Schroeder Park, and without a tremendous amount of water on young
Mhm.
trees. It's like a baby. You got to feed them,
Right,
and feeding them is watering them.
right.
They need we all know how hot it can get in July and August. You need a tremendous amount of water.
Okay. And before you start, do you have to do a soil composition test first, or are you assuming that the seedlings are going to be just conducive to whatever soil we have?
Well, we're gonna plant we're gonna put in healthy topsoil. So
Okay.
I think that would be,
Right,
That's
we're
why-
bringing the topsoil in. We'll
Right.
condition it.
Okay,
that's what Greg mentioned. That's why we're using raised beds.
got it. All right, those were my questions.
Okay.
Can I ask a
one other,
question?
go ahead.
I have a question. I'm trying to take notes. I'm the secretary and there's a larger organization that you have gotten a grant from to do this, or how is this strictly a Belmar project?
Well, the Shade Tree Commission is founded by state statute, and each municipality has the option of incorporating one. Some like Spring Lake has a committee, which quite frankly are less powerful. The commission has a little more power to do certain things. Of course, it's all with the the approval of the council and the mayor. So we work directly with them. And that's where we come from. Now, the city tree or Tree City is where we're getting some funding. Once we get our ducks in order, let's just say it's an endeavor to get going. There are certain grants out there, and not pertaining to the library project, but the trees in the community
Mhm.
is what we're shooting for. I mean, if anybody doesn't know it, the trees we have a forest of trees in Belmar that really need some drastic work, and our main focus is on these very old trees. If you walk outside the library front door and look to the corner of 10th and 10th and E, so that would be the northwest corner. There's a tree leaning into the street, and I'm surprised it hasn't come down. It's coming down. Either somebody's going to have to cut it down, or the wind is going to take it down. And the problem with the wind taking it down, it's going to land on somebody's car or somebody's head or somebody's house. And that's the problem with a tremendous amount of trees in Belmar. They were all planted around 1900. I have two across the street from me on 9th, right on that. They were planted in 1898 to 1901. The trees are massive, and they're coming down. The rest of the trees are gone already through windstorms and Sandy, but there's 2 left, and they're coming down someday. So we do have a pretty big problem with trees, old forest type trees in the borough.
Make a tremendous
Right.
difference to the town. Love the trees.
Yeah, we love them too. The problem is it's a safety factor. I mean,
Oh, I know.
just go look at them. I mean, go like 12th between like 11th, 12th and C and on the side streets. There's a forest of trees down there, and most of them really should come down.
Mm.
The trees that, just so everybody knows, and I hope I'm not speaking out of not boring you, but the trees from the sidewalk to the curb, that's really municipal borough property, but the homeowner is responsible for those, just like a gas line or just like a water line, you're responsible. The trees in that little space there between your sidewalk and the curb, those trees are the homeowner's responsibility. And believe me, people don't want to hear that because it's money. It's a money factor. And you know,
Exactly, yeah.
I hate to get into conversations with people about it. They
Mhm.
don't want to hear it. And they say, well, it's the borough property, it's by state statute and the city ordinance, the reverse is true. It's the homeowner's responsibility. But people really don't want to hear that.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other
You know,
questions?
Yeah, real quick, Jim, this is Bruce again.
Yeah. Hi, Bruce.
You were talking about the watering and, you know, the huge amounts of water that would be necessary to bring these, you know, trees. I know years ago when we had the palm trees on the ocean front,
Right.
they would water those, you know, the borough would come by. They had a truck and they had a big tank on the back of that truck to water those. So just, you know, keep that thought in mind that maybe, you know, they still have that truck or whatever that can go and do this where the water supply is not there. But I'm
Well,
just
see,
saying, you know,
that's the unless you're talking about the trees by the lake and the river, we kind of utilized that last year. But as you know, and you would know especially how busy it is in the borough, and people get busy,
Yes.
and then you know a bunch of the bags. Greg, you probably know better, but I think there were 50-gallon bags,
okay, yes,
and they empty out in a half a day.
yes,
So if
right.
you don't get to them like every other day, which, you know, you need a dedicated person. I mean, we were even, me and Greg last summer were going to even drive the truck, but they did fill in adequately. And the trees actually are still alive, which is, we think, which is a good thing because most of them have leaves on them now. They're starting to.
Absolutely.
So it's a difficult situation without water, you know, a permanent water station. And that's why the library, before the other reasons that Greg mentioned, but that's why the library was so conducive to this project. I know there's other pieces of property in the borough, and even the community garden. There really wasn't a lot of room there, and that's more for planting vegetables. People want to plant vegetables; they don't want to plant trees. You know, so the water is, you know, it's like I said before, it's like a baby. You got to feed them, you know,
Right.
and you really got to feed these saplings, these young,
Oh, yes.
young trees. They really need water.
Right. And I know you had just mentioned about where we had to take down a lot of the trees right by where you are, your home. You go around
Right.
the corner by Union Firehouse, where those a couple of those trees had to be taken down.
Yeah, well, I had them taken down, and that's,
Right.
see, you know, I what's his name, the prior DPW director took them down, but
Mike Campbell.
Mike Campbell, I didn't, you know, so but Mike took them down, but one tree they left up for, you know, I think it was a problematic.
Okay.
And that tree, they took them trees. Quite frankly, they're on city property. The firehouse sidewalk, the whole thing is city property. So
Right.
it was the borough's responsibility to take them down. That's where we're trying to do the ones in these small triangular parks, and you know, they got to get them because it's problematic, and to have a forestry division like, you know, kind of the town needs, it's the equipment is it's just beyond the budget, and plus you have the people trained, you know, you have to have people trained on the trucks, you know.
Correct.
Kevin Gann did one on 9th, you know, between my house and your house, Bruce.
Yeah.
And he had last summer, I think it was between C and D. Oh, I'm sorry, C and B. He almost got electrocuted. You know, Kevin's not trained to do that stuff. He's a forester,
Right.
but he's not trained to. I mean, that's a special. You know, it's like you know, jumping out of an airplane. You know,
Correct.
you know, it's you could ride a plane, but jumping out is a different skill.
Exactly.
So, you know, it's a problem, and everybody knows, and we consider, you know, the town has budget problems, you know.
Correct.
And we don't have to get into where or why, but you know that. So
Right.
we trying to take all that into consideration, and you know, Greg lives on 10th. I live on 9th. One of the girls lives on 11th and the other girl lives on 10th. So we're right there and we all plan on, whacking it up and making sure, depending on the weather, that the trees get watered. And it's only, for me or anybody, it's only a 5 or 10 minute or 15 minutes out of your day, like once a week. So we all agree that it's got to be done.
Right.
And that's what we'll
Absolutely.
do. And then, of course, I know you're going to volunteer.
Whatever you need. You know where I'm at.
I know. Oh,
Absolutely. Anything. And the program that you and Greg have talked to us this evening about, is 100%. And if it benefits the town and the borough, I'm 110% for it. It's great that we can help out wherever we can help out the town and the borough of Belmar.
Yeah, we just want to get this, make people, it's kind of educational, not only to the kids, the students, but also
Right.
to the adults living in the community, make them aware of trees. And we all love trees. I mean, people don't want to take them down, but they're going to fall down and kill somebody. That's the problem. I mean, they provide shade, they cool the houses, they do everything, but unfortunately, they're just too old. And they're going to come down and kill somebody.
Exactly. Well, we had that incident here on 9th Avenue up by where the old bank was, where that person got hit.
Right. The girl.
By the tree. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And she was 2 feet one way, she would have got killed.
Right. Absolutely.
And you saw the trees in front of 314. It's about 314, 312 9th.
Yes.
Probably where they cut them down last summer. And
Correct.
they're totally hollow.
Right.
I mean, look at the trees by the stumps at the firehouse, but the
Correct.
trees by the fire, they're totally hollow. Hollow trees are dangerous. They're very dangerous.
Sharon,
Well,
Okay. Go ahead, Bruce. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. You're right. I agree, Jim. You're right there because, the structure of the tree now is, it's hollow, so it's not able to support itself, basically.
No, and Sandy did do a lot of damage.
Absolutely.
Because the water was all salt or poisonous or full of oil and whatever it was full of. And it takes time to, this is a learning curve for all of us on the commission. We read and try to sound somewhat intelligent. It's difficult at times, but learn a little about trees. And when that water sinks into the ground and gets to the roots, eventually travels up to the tree and kills it or does damage to the tree. So,
right, exactly.
It's a ongoing process, as they say.
Sharon, may I ask a question? If I may?
Yeah, I did have 2 questions, but did you have one, Louis, or you just wanted me to?
I have one quick question.
Sure.
If I may, Greg, just wanted to confirm in your presentation, what resources from the library will you need to, aside from the placement of the trees, to maintain
water,
trees or anything like that?
Water, yes.
Water.
Just water.
Nothing else.
We'll take care of the rest.
Okay.
We'll,
Thank you. I just want to confirm that was nothing else.
Right.
we'll do the regular maintenance.
Right. And I don't think the library has a water bill, do we? So I think that's.
No.
I don't think so.
So there we go. So I think we're fine with that.
I make a motion to provide the water.
Yeah, no. It's not even a question about that. I just had someone text and ask me. So that's why I was asking the question.
That's fine. All right. That's a good question, actually.
I did want to know, which is the location that you've ultimately considered prime location in terms of the library? Is it in the back corner there?
It's
East
Greg,
of the
you want to
building.
go into that?
Yeah, between the, I guess those are 2 oak trees on the east side of the building. That one aerial view we provided had just has a big open area. That's the best choice. Up against the fence, part of the day the fence will shade the trees.
Okay, because my big concern is we just ordered memorial benches to go around 2 of those trees. So I'm a little concerned because DPW is supposed to be installing those this week as well. I'm not sure if Roe, I don't know, is that the same area that we were talking about? You're still muted.
Sorry, I forgot.
It's
I don't
okay.
think I don't think it's the same area because the trees you were talking about are on the East Street side, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are the ones that are on the opposite side?
Yeah, they would be on the
Okay.
east side or the ocean side of the
Oh,
building.
okay.
Ocean.
so-
Right.
And
Okay.
almost directly across from the building. It's like, so the east side of the building, the ocean side of the building, we'll see tomorrow, but it's going to be generally right there when Greg pointed out that tree that was there. So it would be towards the street side of the tree. So it would be that would be the 10th Street side of the
The
tree.
10th Street side, got it.
Right.
Okay. Okay,
Mhm.
thank you.
Is there anybody else that has any questions?
Thank you for a very detailed report. That's what we needed.
Well, thank Greg. He did a great job on that. And,
Look at that.
the business administrator was impressed with it too. So I hope it didn't leave any questions or any doubts or anything, honestly. We're trying to do the right thing here. So, and we will do it. We'll succeed. And it's for the educational benefit of the kids, so
Yep.
we'll persevere. And any issues that anybody has with it or any complaints, please let us know and we'll do everything we can to rectify them immediately. Like I said, we all live, well, Greg lives on 10th. I live on 9th. You could see my back door, the back of my deck from your front door. So we all live immediately in the area. So
Right.
we'll be right there.
Excellent. Thank you. I taught Arbor Day for many years as a teacher, so.
Oh, good.
I'm
Maybe you
all-
can,
I'm all in favor.
Excellent.
maybe you could help
Yeah.
us.
Sure. The Giving Tree was my favorite book, Shel
Oh.
Silverstein.
Nice.
I'll talk to you about some of that stuff because we're going to have to do a presentation to, maybe probably not this year, but start doing something in the school. So
Sure.
that's good. You're a very good resource. I'm glad you volunteered your help.
Not a problem.
Okay. Anything else?
No, I think. that's
Anybody? Okay. I will be signing off. Greg,
I'm through. I just want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to talk and for giving us so much of your time. Actually, I didn't think it was going to take this long, but you had some good questions.
yeah, they did.
Thank you both of
Thank you.
Okay. Now
Thank
remember,
you very much.
just one more thing. They may start some type of construction tomorrow. So if anybody's interested, wants to take a looky see, as they say, hopefully sometime in the morning, just so you know.
All right, good. Thank
Okay.
you.
Very good.
Great.
Thank
right.
you, folks.
See you
Excellent.
tomorrow.
Take
maybe.
care.
Bye.
All right.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very
Thank
much,
you.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you. Thanks, Ro.
I know.
Okay, Louis, who do we have up next?
Okay, we have Eric Einsman and Business Administrator Edwin Kirschenbaum is connected as well. Eric, you can go live and show us what you got.
Hey, good evening, everybody. This is Eric Einsman from Your Target Marketing. We have been maintaining the town's website and built the town's website about 9 years ago, and we've been doing the maintenance on the site. We've also rebuilt the town's website last summer, got it up to speed to be mobile friendly, working on mobile devices, working on desktop, enhanced features and functions for the town to use, a lot easier for everybody in the town to find what they're looking for by using tiles on the homepage and such. We were then asked to get the library website up to speed. Just to give you a little bit of a background on the library website, the library website was basically an afterthought back in about 2012 or 2013 after we built the town's website. The library was looking for a website as well. So how we built that website was we basically piggybacked it off of the Belmar town website and used a lot of the functionality in the town website to control the library website. And it served the purpose at the time, but just like the town website, the library website is now pretty outdated as far as functionality. As most of you probably know, it's not mobile friendly at all. So if you pull it up on a mobile phone, it doesn't really view too well. on a mobile device or an iPad or anything like that. So what the idea was to build actually a new website that, besides being mobile friendly and easier for visitors to view it and for the library to maintain it, was to also integrate functionality using the library software, which is called the Fold Destiny software, library software. What our plan with that is to integrate it that somebody could log in using their library card. They have their own account when they log in. They're able to see the history of books taken out. They're able to see any fees that they might owe for overdue books and such. Another request was also for patrons that do not have a library card to be able to apply for a library card online. That's functionality that was asked for as well. That's something that would be included in this new library build, as well as being able to upload, as per the users, being able to upload videos, being able to upload pictures. Just like how the calendar is, easily upload events, slideshows, and again, just bring it basically up to speed and with all of the functionality that the library requested to have, that the patrons actually need on the website. So that's the idea in a nutshell of what we were asked to do, and the proposal that we put together as what we delivered to the town.
Quick question, sir.
Sure.
What are we talking monetarily wise? What would this fee be, a cost?
I don't have the actual estimate in front of me, Louis. What was it, about 3,300 or something like that, I believe?
30,000.
39. I think it was 39.
39?
Yeah.
39.
That's a good deal.
The 39, yes, I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's a good deal.
The $3,900 cost, that's the cost to build this brand new website, basically, from scratch, with all of the functionality that the library needs.
I see. Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Were you able to come up with a maintenance cost yearly?
If I
The
may,
maintenance cost is, go ahead, Ed, I'm sorry.
okay, if I may, I know the library board was interested in, good evening, everybody. The library board was interested in looking at other vendors. The reason why we're staying with this one vendor is to build it is the price that Eric talked about. And the maintenance fee would be then every year would go back into the borough for maintaining all the websites, and everybody would have their share split out. So it's for security reasons that we stay with one-stop shopping. We don't want to cannibalize our system for years and years. That's how these websites, all good ideas at one time, but by different vendors doing different things, it creates a security issue, and it's just not conducive to a good overall feel for the town. So that's why I wanted to be on this meeting with Eric and let everybody know that they'll build it out. I can tell you that Eric and John both, when we have a problem with anything in our websites, they're 24/7 available to us, because we don't want anything being hacked. We don't want anything to go out that's not correct. Lord knows that everybody looks at our product out there and comments on it. So at the end of the day, that's the deal. We want to stay with the company that's doing the entire borough and get what the library needs. Have Louis able to do what he needs to do to keep it continuously moving forward, but have the knowledge with Eric and John to handle all the functionality of this whole website. Does that answer your question, Sharon?
A little bit. I just don't like to go into any new contract without having even a little inkling as to what it might run into, per year. Just in terms of the maintenance cost. Now, I know you said it's probably going to be a portion of what the boroughs is, but that doesn't really I'm kind of like the treasurer now, so I'm trying to answer all the possible questions. So at some point, doesn't have to be tonight, but if we can just get an estimate, that would just help me in terms of being able to plan ahead.
Once they put everything together, and get everything operational, Christine, I'll sit down with the finance team. We'll figure out what the maintenance.
Okay.
I can provide a little bit of background information. When we met last Wednesday after the meeting, we asked Bridget to come up with kind of an estimate of what we've paid in the past. And in 2018, we paid $1,650. In 2019, it was 2,200, and 2020 was, we can't count it. It was only $705. So I would say it would be at least 2,200, if not a little bit more, just as an estimate. But certainly Christine can probably give us something more accurate for moving forward.
It's going to be proportionate to all our websites. So there's not one person going to be given more than their fair share.
Bill, you had a hand up?
Yeah, I was looking at the borough website. I think that this outfit has done a phenomenal job. Borough website's easy to use, looks cool, looks sharp, and easy to navigate. And the price that we're talking about tonight, that's more than fair. That's a good deal, in my opinion.
I agree.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. This is Bruce. Definitely a good deal. And I 100% approval on that. Absolutely good.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Will this new web design require any additional equipment, like new routers, updating anything? Or will it be able to work
No.
with what we have?
No, it's what Belmar pays for at the beginning of every year. They pay for a web server. So that web server that they pay for covers all of the town websites. So there's no additional cost of what they're paying now, no additional equipment needed, no upgrades, nothing. Everything is basically plug and play.
Perfect, thank you.
Tara, Daddy had a question?
Sure.
I think that was kind of my question as to whether those maintenance costs also included the hosting of the various websites, but from what I understand, they've given the borough their own web server for that.
Correct.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for me while I'm still on? I came on for the Arbor Day and for the computer website part of your meeting. Is there any questions that you might have of me while I'm still here?
Sharon, you need to be.
We haven't done the computer portion yet. That's gonna be next.
In regards to Marshall?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. In regards to Mr. Holman presenting.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions regarding the website design? Okay, so I guess we can move on to Mr. Holman.
And I will stay for that one.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you,
Sharon.
Eric.
Thank you.
Have a good night, everyone.
Yes, you
You
also.
too.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hey, good evening, everyone. I told Sharon that I wanted to, I spoke to the mayor about an idea that I had. The idea came about, I was talking to Elizabeth Fitzgerald, who she went to St. Rose High School. She is a librarian in the she was a librarian in the Philadelphia system, went to Rutgers, executive director now in Abington, Pennsylvania, well respected in the association. And she, when I saw her, she told me she always stops by the Belmar library. She loves the character of it and just goes in and looks, if you're a librarian, you love to go into other libraries. And I told her the challenges that Belmar has had in terms of the civil service and getting a number of good candidates for a librarian position. And we were talking, and she said, well, who is your librarian? Who is your media specialist? And I told her about Danielle. Danielle, for those of you, I know you know her, but she actually has a degree in educational media. And in speaking to Elizabeth about the Rutgers program I asked her to kind of compare the two programs. And she said, to be honest with you, that the courses, there's a lot of kind of old-fashioned courses in the Rutgers program. She said that she really liked the looks of the Seton Hall program. So I talked to her for a little bit, and I thought, the way it works at Belmar Elementary is Danielle does a lot of things. She's our media specialist. She's our G&T teacher. She also teaches some technology. She's a Google certified trainer. And my thought was that the challenge that Belmar Library has is that because you're dealing with the civil service, a salary that is low because it's a small library. I was talking to Elizabeth about the idea that if you get someone right out of college, chances are they might move to a larger library. That if we did a shared service with Danielle, and the school, if the school took the money from the library and took away some of the responsibilities that Danielle has, it might be able to take care of some of the challenges that the Belmar library has in terms of getting the quantity and quality of candidates. And then from there, it would be easy for you to have in my mind, a person that took care of the day-to-day operations as a director. You really wouldn't need someone full-time. Just a thought. I threw it out to the mayor. He said, "Why don't you throw it out to the board of trustees? It could be something that would benefit the library and could benefit the school." So, just throwing it out there to you. And I don't know if you wanted to talk about it at this time, pose some questions to me, or talk about it, some other time. I could ask Danielle not to sit in on in the meeting if you'd like, but I just wanted to throw it out there to you.
Yeah, this is Bruce, and I had discussed certain things with in reference to that, and I think it's a very good idea. From also, there's a cost factor. I mean, as far as her running our library in conjunction with the school, there's like the benefits and stuff like that which could be very costly. Who would take over like from that point, Dave?
Well, the way I see it is what I saw on your posting on the civil service website. The salary was about $75,000. You're talking about $25,000 for someone with family benefits. That's about $100,000 of costs, give or take, depending on your negotiations. That's about what it cost for Danielle in her position. So,
right.
Really Danielle would be, the 185 school days, she would be able to come, what is it, 2 blocks? Walk 2 blocks over
Correct.
to the library and be a resource in terms of her skill set, in terms of her training, decisions like you're talking about the website right now. She would be someone that would be very knowledgeable of that and how that could work to benefit the residents of Belmar. So that would be the idea, is you use someone that has that skill set for those things, and then the day-to-day operations which would be the personnel and the budget and things like that would work with Danielle. And you really if you went part-time, then you're saving benefits on that person too. So really what it does is it gives the Belmar library the opportunity to have a long-term person with a skill set like Danielle that you probably could not afford with the salary that you have right now. And again, I'm going by Elizabeth, her doing some research for me when we talked about it the one night. Talked to her about what she does in her position. Obviously, she has very large libraries that she oversees, but she's knowledgeable. She's in an association that deals with small libraries as well. But a shared service is something a lot of times, smaller towns use to be able to get a candidate that you might not be able to maintain in a small library.
Mm-hmm. And I think being in the school system, this Danielle would be stable. She's not going to, move on or do anything. So we don't have to worry about, down the line in a few years, getting someone again, going through the whole process and such.
Yeah, she's very happy in Belmar. She's she just bought a house right in the area. I see her staying for a long time. I think it would help with the increase the students participation in programs for sure at the library. But again, this would be 185 days. Remember, she would be our employee, and then the library would be paying the school for those services, and then we would take that money and we would put it towards, it wouldn't really be anything for us other than providing this to you, and then we would get a part-time person to do the gifted and talented and maybe a technology class she teaches right now.
Right.
But really, again, this would just be 185 days. But to me, the Board of Trustees could also see if you wanted to have summer programs that you paid her, you could do that as well on an hourly basis. You know, I think it would probably it might save you some money, but it's really going to give you some consistency in terms of someone with her skill set.
Exactly. And I see it as a cost factor too. You know, we're always looking, you know, to save here and there. And I think what you propose, I from this point, I think is a very, very good idea. I see that, you know, as very good. So I myself am supportive of that.
I have a couple of thoughts on it. Just during the time that we've been talking about a director for the library, I think what I've envisioned is somebody who would come in and have a vision, an overall vision for things. And I don't know if we, you know, I think that the kinds of things that Danielle could offer would be terrific, but I don't know if we are cutting back on the money that we have for that person that we're going to get to be the day-to-day person, if we would, you know, really shoot ourselves in the foot by, you know, discouraging somebody who might just see this as a first, if they were just coming out of college or something, like a first job that they could really leave their mark on, or something like that. I don't know. It's just, it had, my mental image has been, you know, somebody who would, you know, really take this and develop the thing. So it's just a thought that I'm having, you know, about splitting the money and reducing the amount of money we'd have for that kind of person.
Yeah, I think the one thing I thought when you said someone coming out of college, you know, nothing's guaranteed, but the one concern that Elizabeth was talking to me about is most of her colleagues that come right out of college to a small library like Belmar, 90% of them move on to larger libraries. So really, the idea was consistency. You know, that was my thought. But I see your point. I think the civil service is going to limit your
so do I.
Candidates too. So
Don't
you
get me
know,
started.
you really can be kind of flexible. You could find someone that's an executive director part-time that could take care of the day-to-day that would work with Danielle and cost about the same amount of money because you're taking away from the benefits.
That's the big thing.
And you're keeping someone consistent
Right.
and
Exactly.
someone with a very strong technology. You know, we're happy. Listen, Danielle's great for us. So if it's something that you wouldn't be interested in, I see some opportunities that could be good for our elementary school as well, because Danielle does so many things. It'd be nice for her to be able to focus on the library, the two libraries. But if the board's not interested, I'd understand that as well.
No, that's just a personal thought. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that this is probably going to require another meeting to discuss more openly.
But thanks for the option.
Yes,
Sure.
yes.
Sure. Okay.
Thanks.
Any other questions?
Well, Dave, it's Bill, before you break.
Yeah.
As you're speaking, I'm thinking about the concept, and I like it because it gives us the ability to have a library professional. It's not somebody who's going to move on. It's somebody who's got the experience. They're,
Right.
like you said, 2 blocks away. And save a little bit of dough. And if we have to hire, I'm gonna use my language, boss, for the day-to-day operation stuff, so be it. And you said this person would be available in the summer
Well,
for
yeah,
special programs and other
yeah,
work?
so the idea would be the 185 days. And I took out, for example, I'm guessing that usually a librarian will start off with possibly, a few weeks vacation plus the state holidays. And when you add all that up, it's about 80% of the time, the 185 days. And that would be where the payment from the library to go to the school and whatever the percentage is, we would just, whatever her cost is, kind of cut it down depending on what the library is looking for in terms of hours. But she is available during the summer. She works for code.org. She works for an organization in New York City that does technology for women, promoting coding for both adults and for, I forget the name of the company, but she told me that if the library was interested in that she would give up those jobs during the summer, and she would be willing to, and it would be better for her, actually. She's got a little one, so it'd be better for her to be close to home rather than the traveling that she's doing up to New York City. But she's, when we send either Danielle or Kevin O'Donnell to a district, they pay us $1,000 a day for their services. So they are very well respected.
Demand, yeah.
Yeah, and so what we take that money and we buy Chromebooks, and I don't do it often because I don't want being away from our students. But
Right.
we really had, about 10 years ago, we received $100,000, I think, from the United Arab Emirates through the Christie Foundation, and we started a program here where we trained about 20 districts, and Danielle was part of that, and Kevin O'Donnell. So what I would see is I would love to see, I see all the things that you're doing in the library to attract people to the library. I could see Danielle promoting going out to seniors that don't have the tech. You know what I'm thinking of? I'm thinking of someone like you, Bruce. I'm thinking of someone that maybe their grandkids aren't in the area. And we have Chromebooks or iPads that go to the senior center, provide the training for them. Then after they feel comfortable in that, then they want to come to the library. Those are the type of things that I was talking to Danielle about. She was really excited. And obviously with the kids, that would be, the kids love her here, and that you'd have more children involved. But that's not, I don't want you to think that that's her only skill set. I don't know. It was an interesting conversation. It was at a cocktail party, to be honest with you, with Elizabeth. And
Drinks
I
were
knew
flowing.
she was a librarian, and I knew she's from Wall, and her father's an educator, and she loves Belmar. She went to St. Rose. I said, any chance you'd move to Belmar, but I looked at her salary, we would not be able to afford her. So that was the idea.
I think this, what was presented this evening, it sounds very good and very feasible. I think it's an excellent idea. And I know we're going to have, as a board, we're going to have to discuss this more at length, more in detail. But I think from my viewpoint, and with her educational background and everything there included, I think it's an excellent idea. That's my opinion.
And I would just say that I would not sit in on that discussion, and Danielle would not. I don't think Danielle should sit in on that discussion as well. And then you feel free to, to discuss, if you think it does benefit the Belmar Library. So, and we'd be willing to come and, after you have that discussion, answer questions for you too.
Right.
Perfect.
Like I said, I think it's my viewpoint. I think it's a very good idea. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? And I'll leave you.
I'm good.
unless Sharon, you want me to stay and take Danielle's position, or what would you like
Please,
me to
just
do?
for a few, just for a few.
All
We're gonna go fast, I promise.
Okay,
Louis,
got it.
Louis is gonna
All
be 5 minutes and I might be 10.
All right,
Thank you.
okay.
All right,
All
my
right,
turn.
Louis, you're up.
Okay, great. Well, interesting night already so far. So here we go with a few more good stuff. All right, we're going to talk about Ed's favorite topic, the poetry program. And we've launched it last Tuesday around 5:30 p.m. with David's video. I don't know if you got a chance to check it out. If you've seen it, great. I hope you enjoyed it. Dave did a fantastic job. Very proud of him. The poetry program is launched on our website. It is on, we promoted through Facebook and YouTube through the website as well. We've launched a constant contact email campaign reaching over 800 email recipients. And we've sent digital flyers to the Belmar Elementary. I sent it to Danielle earlier yesterday, and then today I reached out to Manasquan High School and to St. Rose High School, sending them digital flyers and invites to share with their student bodies. We currently have one poet registered to perform on Wednesday evening's first event. He's a local 28-year resident of Belmar, Arthur Velo. He'll be reading to us one poem of his, and he'll be also reading a second poem of someone written by someone else. I spoke to him today. He's real excited. This is the first poem he's ever had comfortable enough to really promote and speak out loud. So it's going to be pretty good. It's Wednesday on Zoom, 6 p.m. Anyone can register to get the login credentials and connect in.
Louis, can I interrupt? Do you need me any longer, Sharon?
No, thank you very much, Ed.
All right, thanks for all the work you guys do. We'll talk. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ed.
Thank you, Ed.
Thanks, Ed.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so that's the poetry program. We're a little excited. Hopefully it'll be, I anticipate this growing quite much more exciting right there. So we'll see. The next thing is, that I have to tell you about is, excuse me, a new idea for a summer reading program. Ro and Sharon, I think I mentioned this to you before, but it's a pretty cool idea. I got from someone telling me about a library in California where they would pick a title of a book and invite middle schoolers to commit to reading it. And those that commit to read the book will have their names pulled out of a hat, 4 of them. And those who were chosen will be the stars and panelists of a 1-hour Zoom event where they're talking about the book. And it's a great idea because the kids get to be the stars, they get to be the experts, and they get to be on Zoom and have everyone listening to them and all that. So I'd like to adapt that for us to take it and do a good summer reading program with the school where we would find what books the school wants the kids to read during the summertime and promote those books as, hey, kids, if you commit to read the book, 4 of you can be on a Belmar Library Zoom event where they would be the panelists and experts on the book, talking with their peers and everything. And the good thing about that is that they get them reading, and at the same time, they're reading books that the school would like them to read. So it's a really cool idea. It's still kind of in development, but we do have all the resources and equipment necessary to make it happen, whether it be remotely similar to what we have now, or hopefully in time, maybe an in-person event as well. Before I go on, what do you guys think?
Well, Bruce, again, your presentation just now, I think that sounds very good. That's and now they're going to read the book. They're going to get involved. They're going to get on a panel if they're selected to discuss the book. I think that's getting them more involved than just reading the book.
Well, that also plays to what we're trying to do with the library is, and I spoke to this previously, in getting the library engaged with our constituents and our community. The more we can get them involved and actually participating with what we're doing, I think it benefits the library all along. So, yeah, so it plays to that. I think it hits all the bases all around. So,
and is
I think that.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Go
Go ahead, go ahead. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Is the summer reading list the same, Mr. Holman, from last year, or could we maybe check to see if that list
Yeah,
is?
I could have Danielle talk to Lewis. I think it's being updated right now. But the one thing I was thinking about, Lois, is it all comes down to relationships, right?
All right.
So to motivate students, that's where I would say, that you talk to Danielle and say how would you get these students motivated? You have a few students that love to read, and I'm sure, but I think the important thing is that we have those students that need a little push or a little motivation, or the student. I like the idea that you said in terms of taking a leadership role, those students that are avid readers, but they might not be confident to present, but putting this in a Zoom situation. And Danielle would be able to kind of work that out with you. So I think it's a great idea. I just think it's all in the details in terms of how to motivate the students during the summer to be involved, and making sure that we involve the right, not just Danielle, but the right teachers to promote it to the kids that love those teachers. It's all about the teachers.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, as I said, this is just an idea that literally came
Yeah.
to me a few days ago. So,
But we're in.
Mhm.
We are definitely in. So
Awesome. Thank you. I'm great. Looking forward to driving this. Good.
yeah.
Okay. The quick update: the benches for Sharon Day has arrived, and they are ready for assembly installation by DPW. They're here in the lobby of the library.
Yes, they are.
Sharon's
Lewis and I pushed them in.
Yes. Yes.
Physically.
That was fun. Okay. The next author time is now in the works, tentatively scheduled for May 6th at 7 p.m. Thanks to Caridad, we got an author who's excited to be here. Her name is Carol van den Hende. It's Dutch. And she has her debut novel, which is called Goodbye Orchid, which just released in this past October. And so she will be the author at the time. Her day job, by the way, is a strategist and marketer for Mars Incorporated. So if you want to know the color of the next M&M, she's the one to ask. So she'll be really good. And I think I spoke to her earlier today, and we have something pretty cool lined up for her. So that. Next thing is Youth Art Program has had its second event this past Friday. It went off swimmingly, no problems. We had similar amount of kids, like 5 or 6 this time around. 9 registered, but only 6 showed up. Oh, well, but it went well, pretty good. It was Vincent van Gogh and Starry Night, and it came out to be pretty well. And we were done in like less than an hour. It's pretty quick. So that went pretty well. The next one is going to be in May, and that's going to be Claude Monet. It's a little impressionist work's going to be done.
Lewis, do you think to help entice getting more students that we could contact the art teacher at Belmar Elementary to see if she might want to have some of her students that may not be knowing that it's even going on? Because
yeah, that's a pretty good idea. David, if you could like help out.
Lois, if you could just call me tomorrow, I'll send you her contact information. You could just text her directly. I'll talk to Megan tomorrow, and that sounds great.
Okay. About BES art teacher. Okay, got it. All right, now moving on real quick. The summer program that Dawn Lisco has proposed, it's possible that with things changing, and when Ro and I were at the last directors meeting, Ed was talking about that. Now that we have concerts going on at Piano Plaza and other things going on, all the activities, can we not have events on the library lawn? And so the question is, Dawn's been wanting to do these art programs with live students on the front lawn in the summertime. I mean, obviously now it's not right for the spring, and the spring program is already started. But the summer program, which is 6 weekly sessions, we could, weather permitting, easily have it on the lawn and still do a Zoom presentation as well.
And we still have a tent, don't we? At some point, if we needed to put it under the tent, don't we still have that row?
We do. It's in the shed.
Right.
Yes.
So that's a thought that, even if it's warm enough, if it's raining or lightly drizzling, they should be able to still maybe fit under the tent.
Yep.
So if it's okay with you guys, I can tell Dawn that we can go ahead with live events on the lawn outside for the summer.
Yeah, we just have to get those numbers up because 5 is sad.
Well, it's a beginning,
Yeah, I know, but
Beginning
I thought they'd increase by now, so.
Well, it's only had 2, so we'll see.
Right,
But with David's help and the art school, I think there's a good idea that we'll drive those numbers. So.
Right.
All
I think
cool.
so.
And
And also share with St. Rose. Maybe, I don't know who St. Rose's art teacher is, but I'm sure that
Yeah.
that might be something.
okay. Danny White Band has pushed back to tentatively in May 22nd for their concert with us with the kids. This timing is difficult for him to round up. All the kids are still in spring break vacations and all this stuff. So he said if we push back to May 22nd on a Saturday, we can do it then. So that works with us. That gives us plenty of time to promote it and drive it, once he commits to that date with all the kids. And of course, we'll be on both those, on both them. We could probably do them outside on the lawn too, if the weather's permitting. I'll follow that up as we get closer. And Sharon mentioned it earlier, but just so you know, all the new computers are now physically in the library, but they're not installed yet. So we're just waiting for Borough Hall Marshall to be freed up from his current assignments to come here and set that all up. But all the pieces are now here at the library right now. And finally, I have, just so you know, the library meeting now is being recorded on Zoom. And as per all public meetings, this recording will be posted on our website so that people can view it, just much like the Borough Hall Council meetings as well. So, and we'll also now have future meetings posted on the website on the calendars posting, so people can see it and can sign in as well with all the links. Last but not least, there was one mention of the Makerspace at the directors meeting, and basically the building that was being looked at that we would have the Makerspace done, the first aid squad building, is currently being occupied with other things that Lake Como is dealing with right now. And so for the moment, they're still dealing with stuff, and it's still kind of in the works. And I'm sure with everything COVID, it's still kind of, on hold for a second, but it's not out of people's radar at the Borough Hall, at least. So, and that was something that Ed and Ro can back me up on this, that Red brought this up himself. We did not have to raise the issue. He spoke to it specifically himself.
Right.
Unless you guys have any questions about anything I have, that is it.
Louis, I just want to kind of piggyback mentioning the Makerspace, because I had forgotten about that. That's also something that Danielle can be very helpful with. I don't know if you remember, several years ago, we worked on a grant to get some equipment for the Makerspace. And Danielle has some experience doing that. We didn't get it, unfortunately, but she does have a lot of experience with that. She's gone to a lot of the maker days, and she said it's amazing how they can just put a bunch of junk on a table and the kids come in and they have free reign to do whatever they want, and they come up with these amazing products. So that's another good thing. I do think she would be very good for the library. She runs the elementary school library. We've been working pretty closely together, as we did with former Belmar Elementary School librarians. We have always tried to, kind of enhance that partnership. And we do share our follett system with Belmar Elementary School. So that's another a good, plus. So the other thing, in addition to Danielle and Makerspace, and Louis, you were talking about Danny White and having the kids band do this. When we were at if you remember, at the department head meeting last Wednesday, the recreation director was talking about the musical events at Piano Plaza. And so I said, does that mean that the library can have musical events like our summer concerts on the lawn? And Ed said, yes. Apparently they are looking for the musicians to donate their time. In the past, we have always paid we've had Pat Roddy Band, Danny White Band, and the Shore Blues Band. So that's another decision for the board to think about. Do we want to move on this? Because, in 2 weeks, it'll be May, and we have to start booking these people if we want to do it. And Ed has always said, just as long as we follow the CDC guidelines, I don't know if we will still be able to have food involved like we have in the past with the hot dog trucks. But that is the one comment that we get, the most often repeated comment. When are you going to have the summer concerts on the lawn again? So it looks like we have the okay to do that, at least from the borough perspective. Now it's up to the board. And if so, do we want to continue to pay, what we've paid them in the past? So another topic for your discussion. Okay.
Real quick on that. Average, what was the expense for having like a concert on the lawn there? If I'm not mistaken, was it like $600-700, somewhere in that ballpark?
Yes, typically we paid the bands $600 because that's what they had been paid by the borough when they used to play on Piano Plaza. And then typically the hot dog truck was about $400.
Right.
And that.
Well, yeah, along those lines, like with the hot dog truck, I think we're getting into maybe right now with COVID and everything, I think we might be getting into a little problem with that. Maybe just offering something like maybe cold water or something like that, maybe a drink or something like that.
Right. For the most part, a lot of people brought their own things. They brought their families. They had a picnic on the lawn. Some of the people pizza. It is nice to have bottled water to give out to the people. I do think the food might be an issue.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, exactly.
But, so that's just another avenue we have to explore.
But I know it was well attended. I mean, I went to all of them, and it was very well attended and very well accepted. And I think people enjoyed that evening. It was very nice.
Yes, everyone misses it. Misses them, I should say.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Well, could you check into possible dates to see when they might be available, and then we can do a quick vote on it?
Sure. All three?
For all three.
Okay.
And then usually we have one at the beginning, one at the end of the summer, and then I'm not sure where the Shore Blues, they were in the middle maybe?
In the middle, yeah.
That's what I thought.
In the beginning, it was Pat Roddy to open the summer and to close it.
Okay.
But then we added the other groups on because they were interested in playing as well. So we can see if that's still the case.
Okay.
Okay.
And I think it was it a weeknight?
Yes.
Yes, it was. Yes, I believe it was a weeknight.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yes. Yeah. And it was like early, maybe 5, 6, so that we didn't disrupt, the neighborhood. I know we had one time we had somebody complain, but it was like at 7 o'clock at night. But, as long as it ends, I guess, 8, 7:30, 8 o'clock, I think that's fine.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Thank you, Ro.
You're welcome.
Okay. My quick, very concise President's report, since I have to skip over Treasurer's report. Some of you may have received the email. Jerry has resigned.
Yes.
She's actually moving to another area, and So the mayor has been made aware that we now have an open position on the trustee board. So I think it's too late for us to even consider talking about it tonight, but I just wanted to bring that up. I would
Right.
imagine probably for the May meeting, we will probably either have some candidates that are interested and possibly have to have an election at that point too, because I know it's an executive position. So
Right.
real quickly, my things, I wanted to promote David Capoli. In case you haven't seen his book, it's called Outbreak 2020. He wrote about his personal experience of COVID-19. He's one of our library employees. That's his second book. So copies can be requested from the library at curbside. So pick up your copy. Mine is autographed. Okay. Another thought is a patron of ours mentioned that the little library fixture had been removed from Fifth Avenue and is being held at the DPW that's supposed to be awaiting repairs on the door, I believe. So what I did is I did check with Lewis. He was going to see if by chance there might be an extra one in the building somewhere, because I thought we had one extra that might have been made by someone. But what I also thought might be helpful is to reach out to all of you committee members here, trustees, and to see if you know of maybe any local Cub Scout Eagle leaders that might want to have a student maybe do it as their Eagle project to make one of the little libraries, because we could use a couple more in town. I thought some strategic areas might be the train station, as well as adding one maybe at 18th Avenue on the ocean, because we don't have one there. I think we have one at 5th. I think one at 11th, like near Mary Brennan's house. We could
Right.
do one at the far south end too, just so that you don't have to walk so far to find a book. So anyway, I'm going to try with the two Cub Scout leaders that I know. I'm going to call George. Everyone knows George, and ask George if he knows of someone that might be able to want to continue that as a project. And I'm also going to check with my neighbor, who's also an Eagle leader, and to see if that's something.
And just to intervene, one other gentleman, Mike Provenzano.
Okay.
Mike Provenzano was a Boy Scout leader in town. So you might want to check with Mike.
I'll check with George first. George knows everyone.
Yeah, and he can give you
Exactly.
Mike's number. But
Right.
Mike was heavily involved with the Boy Scouts.
Okay, good. I was pleased to know that Darlene was able to join us on a meeting that we had last week. Excuse me. There was an New Jersey trustees meeting last week, and I saw she was on along with Johanna and I. It was informative. I hope that Darlene was able to pick up some new stuff from that. I've also sent out a couple of little websites that I hope will help, especially the new trustees, learn more about being a trustee. But one important COVID detail that came out that I was very pleased to know that we were collaborating with the borough was knowing that we were doing exactly what the borough was doing in terms of, the COVID response and the PPE and the cleansing and things like that. So when it does come to the point where the library will be reopened, we'll be able to use even more of what the borough's using. I know, for example, the school, I think, has the robot that comes around. So maybe during the summertime, if the library is open at that point or later on, you can run that little thing over and hit our building as well. I think the only other two things that I wanted to mention were, I know that there are two committees that are still working, so they'll hopefully be able to present next month. That's the capital improvements proposals as well as the strategic planning one. And then the only other thing is I'm hoping that we can have a meeting, and this is something that I can talk to Roe and Lewis about when the meeting is over, just to see exactly where these trees are going to be planted, as well as some of the work that David is doing and some of the concerns we have with some of the things that have been cut down and whatever. So that's something that we can discuss at a later date. But I do think that now we require a meeting to sit down so we have a better plan of what's going forward. But that's it for me.
I just had one other question, Sharon.
Sure.
I had mentioned to you, remember every year we had to do a financial disclosure by the 30th of April by the 30th of the month of April with our borough clerk, April.
Right.
Is there any info
Yes.
or what?
Yes,
Go ahead.
I did write him today. He did write me back. He said that the site is not open yet. The new trustees have received their letters indicating that when it is open, that they'll be able to register their new accounts and be able to log in as well. But from what I understand, the site is not open yet, and that's the reason why we haven't received the notice from April. And April did
Okay.
write stating that, because I was like, oh, well, maybe this year, oops, what did I just do? Anyone see me? Oh, I just touched it by accident, sorry. Yeah, April wrote me back and said, hold on, I have it right here. The new board members were notified already to register for their accounts for financial disclosure filings, so they will be ready when it goes live. So it's not live yet. Because Bruce
Okay.
and I said the same thing. We were like, gee, it's the 12th of April already. We haven't received a notice from April. What's going on?
Exactly.
So we just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure because I know if there could have been a fine if you didn't,
Right.
The borough would be fined, and I just don't want to see, any problem that the borough.
I'm wondering
has.
if because taxes are now extended to May, if that might be the same thing. They may have extended it to May. I don't know for a fact, but I know that, that the tax deadline was originally the 15th and now it's
Right.
May. I have no idea, but I know
I'm
that
sure April.
we're not in
April will
arrears
keep us
yet,
posted.
so, yes.
Yeah, she'll keep us posted on that. That's good. Okay.
Right. Okay. Any comments? Anyone have anything to add?
Hey, Sharon, it's Bill. I want to go back to Dave Holman if I could. I have a question for Dave, if he could unmute.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Dave, real quick. I'm thinking more and more about your proposal with Danielle, and would she be able to serve as library director? I mean, is that
Depends on
something that we as a
depends
board
on
would
what you-
consider?
Depends on what would need to be done is what you consider to be the library director. You could do that, but you'd have to have some type of assistant, I think, to take care of the day-to-day, because remember, she works 7 hours for us. So, she could work half-time for you, but we definitely need her for half the time. So, if she could do that in that time frame, I know there's some places that have someone that's not considered a director that takes care of personnel issues, that takes care of budgetary things. It's called an assistant of some type. That's what Elizabeth said to me. I think some smaller libraries in Pennsylvania that have done a shared service with a school, but it all depends on what your job description is and what it is that you want the executive director to do.
Okay, so she's available. I mean, this is more for a board discussion. So she's available every day for 3.5
Every
hours.
day,
a day.
the 185 days a year, for half the time. She works 7 hours for us. But the nice thing about with taking away some of her responsibilities now is there would be flexibility in that. Like, let's say there was some type of activity that needed her to be there for a longer period of time. As just being our media specialist, rather than her teaching the G&T classes and and a few technology classes, that would open up some flexibility. But again, the understanding would be, she works from 8 to 3 o'clock. If it was something in the evening, that would be something that you'd have to kind of discuss with her. We'd have to kind of talk about all that stuff, the specifics of that. But it's definitely something that would be flexible. But we'd have to talk to Danielle too, in terms of what she would be willing to do in terms of her times. My thought would be that she would work the same hours of the day, but then during the summer, the board would decide how many hours that she would separately work for you. That might be a couple extra $1,000, that you would pay for her to do certain things. You might her, as you talked before, Sharon, about writing grants. That might be the time where she's writing grants for you. Things like that.
Okay, thank you. One last question. So let's say her work day is from 8 to 3. And if I'm just saying hypothetically, if this is something that worked out for our library, would we get her a chunk of time inside those work hours?
Yeah, inside those work hours, because she's our employee. So, you know, because she's our employee and there's contract hours, I have to keep her between those times. If there was something where we created something where if she worked outside those hours, she was paid hourly for you, which decreased maybe the amount that you'd pay to the school, or could she get some comp time with us doing that? That's something that we could work out in a contract.
Okay, I got it. Thanks. I just needed that for my head.
Yeah.
Real quickly, and this is something Ro and Louis, you can think about. I just had this text to me from a patron. Knowing that the tree beds are probably going to be worked on tomorrow, just to keep this in mind, if we were to have the concerts, we'd have to make sure that that area would not be part of where people would sit to possibly watch the concerts. So just wanted to keep that in mind. I didn't even think of that. So that was a good thought someone had brought up.
I should mention one thing about the trees. When DPW was here the other day dropping off all the wood, our neighbor next door to us called and asked Louis, what's going on? And once I explained to him, that's what's how we were having this arbitrary thing. It's these small little wood bed, raised beds for trees. He was perfectly fine with it. He seemed fine. He was a little concerned that we were like building something bigger without knowing about it. But once he heard it was just small trees, he's good with it. So, but
Yeah, he has that beautiful upstairs terrace that he wants to make sure he
Yeah.
can still see our building from his terrace.
yes, yeah.
And Sharon,
Yes.
I think where they're thinking of putting those trees wouldn't interfere with any concert that we're doing in front of the library. So
Yeah, I wouldn't think
that's-
so either, but sometimes, they spread out the entire width of the front lawn.
yeah,
So that's why I was just bringing it to the attention since they're going to be there soon, so. Okay, I don't have any old business. Any other comments?
No.
Okay.
Just thank you, Louis, for all your work that you do and everything that you're doing. Thank you very much, Louis.
Thank you, Bruce. I appreciate that.
All right.
Thank you, Louis.
Thank you, Bill.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank
Ro.
you, Louis.
And
Thank you,
Ro.
Louis.
Let's
Yeah.
not forget about
Thank you,
Ro.
Louis.
Yes.
You're
that's what I
holding
just
it
said.
all together.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. You are all appreciated.
Okay,
Mhm.
just reminding everyone, the next meeting is May 10th. So make sure you have that on your calendars. We'll be on Zoom again. And
Okay.
I'm glad that
Sharon?
this worked out. Yes. Who had a
Sharon,
comment?
we do not have any attendees, so there is no.
We
no
did have
public.
we did have one, the
We
person.
did have one.
Yes, I already wrote down the name.
Okay, so she's doing that, but so there is no attendees to, there's no public for a public session, so I just want to-
Correct. Okay, and we do have the ability, just to let everyone know, I didn't know this, and so it was kind of brought to my attention that if we should ever have to go into closed session, we can go into a breakout room and Louis would be the host and would put us in the room, and then the attendees would not be privy to that information. So I thought that was important to know.
And
Yes.
neither would I or anyone other than.
Correct.
board members.
Correct. Just the panelists, yes. All right, thank you, everyone. Have a great week.
Do we
See you
need-
next
Nice
time.
evening.
All right.
Yes.
Do we need a motion to close?
Yes, please, someone make a motion.
Karen Ed makes a motion to close.
I'll
I
second the
second it.
motion.
I
Yes,
second.
Johanna, go ahead.
Yep, I second the motion that we close the evening.
Okay, I would like someone to sing that song. I second that emotion, but that's okay.
I second that emotion.
You know what? Maybe we'll have one of the trustees sing at one of our lawn concerts. Or
There we
something.
go.
Yes.
There we go. I like it. I like it. All right, thanks, everyone. Much appreciated.
Okay, everyone
Thank
have a
you.
great evening.
You too.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good
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 night.
night now.